Well, it's about 1:15 a.m. in the morning. Puppy needed a walk, but that's because I'm awake. I'm a little stressed, nervous. Students are taking the FSA, the ELA FSA tomorrow, or actually later today in a few hours. And, you know, it's nerve-wracking. New school, new kids, but I've been here for a while now, and I know I got faith in them. And ultimately, the way I look at it, it's like this. Oh, there we go. I don't know why I'm blue. I don't know how that's happening. But, you know, I do a lot of motivation stuff because, I don't know, if I'm not doing it, who is? And I was thinking about something a former student of mine in Brentwood once said, that the reason why they can't do won't do social studies is because they can't do social studies. And social studies is a study of government, how it works. It's a study of economics, humanities, not just history. And it made me think about, all the time somebody has told me, I can't. Well, you know what? It also reminds me of a story when a student once said to, actually, one student says to me every year, man, a lot of stuff has happened to you. It's like everything's ever happened to you. Well, you know why everything's ever happened is because I do stuff, okay? I don't just sit around. I don't just concentrate on one thing. I give 100%, 200% with everything I do. I learned that when I played sports. I got injured. I still played. I learned that when, I was getting my first jobs, like real jobs that were on the books and stuff. Hey, pup, we got to turn around the lights. I'm walking my dog, so. And I also learned that, like all the jobs I ever had, I would use my mind and, get promoted very quickly. Well, what happened? Why am I where I'm at now in my life? Well, destiny or whatever started taking my body away. The injuries increased, the severity of the injuries increased, and what people don't know is that years later, the after effects of those injuries will affect you. I got 2 bad knees, 1 bad ankle, a shoulder that's nearly destroyed. Every single one of my fingers has been broken at least 2 or 3 times, maybe more. I've had, from what I know, at least 6 or 7 concussions. So, they try to take my body away, but I don't let that get me down. I still play sports. I do my flag football when I can. I do softball when I can. I do the dodgeball when I can, and I even rollerblade and play some hockey around here when I can. But so life took my body away from me. What about my mind? About 5 years ago, my kid wasn't even 1 year old, and I get diagnosed with a brain tumor about the size of 2 golf balls right here. I don't know if you can see the scar, but it was right here. And, it affected me. The location of it was the parietal, temporal, and frontal lobe. The tumor was like right there in between all 3 of those lobes. Yeah, so you guys complain about headaches. Imagine having 2 golf balls jammed in your head. It was removed. I lost feeling on this side of my face. That's why I have a beard, because I'm afraid to shave. But, I kept going. They told me I would never be able to use my hands again. They told me I would never be able to play catch and throw with my son. They told me I would never speak again. They told me I would never walk normally again. But I'm walking my dog. I'm talking, I'm holding stuff. I may not have the best grip in the world anymore, but, whatever. The thing is that my brain, my mind, and my body, that can be taken but you got to keep fighting forward with it. But overall, the one thing that was never affected is the willpower. That's really what it comes down to. I've seen people get injured in games and still keep going. I've seen people in paintball or in the battlefield, take an injury and keep going. Whether it's their body that goes or their mind. I've seen, people who've had afflictions with their brains, mental health issues, and they just keep going because the desire to be successful, the desire to be somebody outweighs it all. It outweighs it all. You going to the bathroom? Okay. The way I look at it is this. I've been labeled or called a helicopter parent every now and then because of my son, the way I am with him. So the way I look at it is, you mean to tell me a kid with manners who wants to do his homework, a kid who, and by the way, this is all willingly. I don't do this, okay? A kid who knows right from wrong, a kid who is apologetic when you call him out on what he does is wrong. You mean to tell me a 5-year-old that takes accountability and responsibility for the stuff that he does, and I'm a helicopter parent and that's a bad thing? Then I'll be the baddest parent in the world. Because you know what? If I'm not going to do it, who is? And the same feeling I feel about my kid is how I feel about my students, the ones I've had and the ones I have. I really wish I was still with the kids, that I had. I didn't just prepare for math FSA last year. I helped them with ELA. I did it all. I had a great co-teacher last year. All I did was back her up. That's I had 2 co-teachers last year. And that's all you can do is back up your you got to back up your co-workers' play. You don't have to be best friends with the people you work with. But you know what? You're there together to get the job done. You work together. And that's the same thing for students. You're all in this together. You're all in the same 15-mile radius of where you live, and you're going to be like this for the next 10 years. You're going to either grow as a community or not. It's up to you. I'm just a visitor here. I'm not from here. And all I can do is the best I can to make sure you become the best that you will be. That's why I'm out here at 1:30 a.m. in the morning, praying, hoping, thinking that my students that are at Imagine, the students that are in Odyssey, my students that are in college now, I'm just praying that you all do your best, and no matter what the result is, that you learn something from me, you learn something from your other teachers, you're going to take those lessons, and you're going to become the best you'll ever be. One of the best lines in The Last Jedi. Great movie. I liked it. But one of the best lines in the movie, and this is not a spoiler, but it's when Master Yoda talks to Luke Skywalker, and everybody knows I love Star Wars. I got that thing in my room. I really like this blue effect. Anyway, one of the best lines in that movie is when Yoda talks to Luke Skywalker, and he says, the greatest burden of all teachers is that their students will become greater than they are. No. Students will become greater than their teachers, and that is the burden of all teachers. That we need to make you better than what we ever could be. I've been there. I've said, what if? I have turned away from dreams. I have said, I can't do this. But you know what? The one thing that Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker, said is true. Pain is temporary, but if you quit, it'll last forever. That's true. 20 years later, I think about this question. Why did I become a teacher? The number one answer is always because I like kids. That is not the number one reason why I became a teacher. I do like kids, but I also like adults. I'll teach anybody. It doesn't matter if they're kids or adults. Heck, I even teach my puppy. Well, she needs that brace because she'll go running away. But the one thing I wanted to say is I decided to become a teacher because I want people to be the best that they can be. You know, it's not a lie when I say that, you know, I see the potential that everybody has. You know, when I was growing up, when I was like 19 and 20 years old, I used to get made fun of by my friends and family because they'd say I was so naive, because I believed everybody was good. I was too trusting and too nice of a person. What, there's something wrong with being nice and having manners and, you know, believing that people are better than they are? Everybody thinks they're good. Nobody ever thinks they're naturally evil. So why not take that belief and cultivate something from it? Why not take the belief that everybody thinks they're the best, everybody thinks that they can do whatever they want? Why not take that belief and cultivate it? Show them that, hey, you have that mentality, you think you're the best? Show them. Show us that you're the best. Show us that you're the best reader, you're the best writer, you're the best artist, you're the best singer. Show us you're the best athlete. And you know what? Once you show us you're the best athlete, then let's step your game up and show us that you're the best captain. Show us that you are the best, you know, team leader. Show us you are the best teammate. Or in some cases, show us you are the best substitute player or on the bench. Not everybody can be an all-star. Know your role and become the best at it. Colin Cowherd gives some of the best advice. Colin Cowherd is a former anchor on ESPN. I think he's on Fox Sports now or something. But he said this: you get good at one thing. This one thing. You get good at it, you'll be a millionaire. Whatever this one thing is. Think about it. What's the one thing you're good at? Maybe you don't know yet. Everybody loves these Marvel movies coming out, but how many of them know that some of the co-creator, Jack Kirby, was 44 years old when Fantastic Four were made, Avengers were made, all right? Avengers, Fantastic Four, all these things came out in the 1960s. You're talking about a guy who was born in the late 19-teens or early 1920s. 44 years go by before he gets his mark. You know? AJ Styles, my son's favorite wrestler. I idolize the guy too because he's my age and on top of the WWE. Usually that's reserved for people in their 20s and 30s. I'm 40 years old. I'm not giving up. You know, I'm walking around with 2 bad knees, a shoulder that's destroyed, a small percentage of my brain ain't coming back, but I'm still here. I could have gone on disability. I could have said, you know what, let other people take care of me. But no, I came back to Florida to raise my son and to live my life. But that's my story. And all I can do is hope that it inspires people. You know? And that's why I'm walking my dog here for 13 minutes talking to you fine people on the interwebs. Listen, it's only one test. It's not going to make or break the rest of your life. But the only thing I ask is that everybody does their best and show everybody that you learned something this year. All the people that make fun of, you know, kids with bad grades, all, you know, or any, you know, people who are family members and friends that say you can't do this. You know what? I think you can. And the power of reading is ridiculous. I didn't learn it till I lost it. After my brain tumor, I couldn't read. I couldn't read. You know, I still have difficulty writing. You know, I'm doing the best I can. They told me, you know, the things they said I couldn't do. And I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. And then I lost the ability to read. It was, you know, it sucked. It did. It was like, oh my gosh. And if I developed more empathy for, I'm not just going to say children, for adults. That's why how many times, this is the reason why I don't really go to my church anymore. How many times when they have that service card, they're like, well, how would you like to serve your church? We got this, we got that. And I told them, hey, I'm willing to do adult education every Wednesday night for free. Adult education, let me teach some people how to read. Let me teach some people how to do math, basic math. Because every time I worked in retail or I watched people get ripped off. I watched people not know how to count change. I watched people give the wrong change back. And you know what? It's just, you know, this community, I love this community, but it could be so much more. The potential here is great, because I look at where I'm from in New York, and I come back, and Suffolk County looks like somebody's yard threw up all over the place. Seriously, branches are on the side. They used to, like, look, here's my sidewalk. Look how far back that goes. Okay? Look how much they cut that. In New York, I know when, the economy was bad in 2008 and they started cutting things down, and I think it was like 2010 when I worked for the parks, and they were like, okay, guys, you can only trim 3 feet into the tree line, not 20. Okay. And we did that. And I go back to Suffolk County. It just looks like somebody's yard threw up all over the place with a few roads in it. Palm Bay, Melbourne, West Melbourne, it's got so much potential in the future and the kids. Why do I say that? There is no mass commuting here. There's buses. Okay, there's a bus line. That's great. But you know what? Imagine if Brevard County had trains. If Brevard County, if Florida had trains the way that New York did, and that's the thing, Florida is like rectangular shape, trapezoidal shape. There's a little FSA knowledge for you. If Florida was just like, if they had, trains going up and down and east and west, people could commute, but unfortunately that's not here. So that means that you're going to have a community of people that live and die within the same 20 miles. So this is our future. This is it. And if parents and family and friends aren't stepping up to help contribute, and maybe they are, but they're just too busy, it's up to the teachers to do it. And we don't choose to do it. It just happens. The state expects it to happen. Our roles are not what they used to be, which is why when anybody rips on a teacher for their job, I'm like, you don't have an idea, all right, how many lunches I've bought, for kids. How many times I have, put my own money out to take care of things that they need, basically. How many tubes of toothpaste have I bought? Deodorant, soap, shampoo, clothes, and then I would miss a meal, or I would miss something like that. But you know what? Maybe that high school student that got the deodorant needed it for a job interview. Maybe the clothes I had to buy for a kid, maybe they needed it to stay warm. All I can do is give and hope that, something, the galaxy, the world, the universe is all about balance, right? So hopefully I give enough and somebody will give back. And maybe they'll create a better community that I can raise my kid in. This is a big rant. But like I said, I'm stressed, I'm nervous. It's my first FSA in a new school with a new subject. But I'm getting tired now, and I just had to let it all out. And I really think that my kids are going to do great. I know they're going to do great. I mean, whether they're my students from Imagine or whether my students from Odyssey, they're going to do great. I believe in them. And I'm not just saying, that to say that. I don't lie. And you know what? Whenever I say I'm 100% right 99% of the time, tomorrow is not that 1%. Everybody is getting 3 or better. Everybody. Let's finish this test. Let's show the world what we can do. Let's shove those results back in their face and say, back up off me. I can read. I can do math. And I'm going to be successful. Okay? I may not be a rocket scientist. I may not be an author. I may go into art where I need to do math to figure out angles and scale. I may go into marketing where I need to learn how people think and I have to study their reading patterns. It all starts here. It all starts. You know what? But don't think about these things until you're in high school. The only things I want you to think about is passing the test, go play Fortnite, and have a great weekend. School's almost over for the students. I don't know about next year. We'll see. I always say I'm like Nanny McPhee. When you don't want me, I'm here. And when you need me, I gotta go. I love teaching here in Florida because you can see how appreciative students are when they really realize somebody cares about them and their future. And I care about your future because you are my future. I'm going to retire in 20 years. Who am I going to work for? Myself? No. Think about it. In 20 years, there are going to be jobs out there that our students, you guys, will have that don't even exist yet. Think about that. And some of the jobs that are here won't exist in 20 years. It's a lot to take in, a lot to think about. All right. And if you are in desperate need of good motivation, I totally recommend looking up a video called Author's Transformation. It's an interesting video about never giving up and being resilient. It's one of my favorite videos, Author's Transformation, with DDP Yoga. All right, Athena, do you want to say anything? She's probably like, why did you walk me around for 21 minutes? All right, time to really go to bed. I'll see everybody in a few hours. Let's just pass this test and celebrate and enjoy the rest of the school year. Good luck, everybody. But I know you don't need it because you got this. Have a good one.